The chandeliers burned bright. Cameras snapped nonstop. An influence strutted confidently across the ballroom until a single moment froze it all. A black woman reached out her hand, calm, polished, professional. The billionaire mogul answered with a smirk, a sideways glance heavy with disdain, then turned her back without hesitation. She eagerly shook hands with the white men nearby, laughing loudly, as if the black woman before her simply didn't exist. Phones caught everything. Millions would eventually watch. What no one realized in that instant, the damage had already been done. The ballroom was a temple of money and power. Golden light spilled from crystal chandeliers onto gleaming marble floors. Champagne glasses chimed like delicate bells, while influence flowed effortlessly from table to table. Every smile was leverage. Every handshake, a transaction. Then came the moment that divided the room. Danielle Brooks stood firm in a tailored navy suit. Sharp, composed, unmovable. She extended her hand, courteous, steady, unflinching. Facing her was Rebecca Hawthorne, a billionaire construction titan. Blonde hair shimmering under the lights. Entitlement etched into every practiced smile. Rebecca's eyes dragged slowly over Danielle, measuring, judging. The pause stretched long enough for discomfort to spread. Then she smirked, turned away. No greeting, no acknowledgement. Instead, she clasped hands enthusiastically with the white men beside Danielle, laughing as though the woman she dismissed wasn't standing inches away. The insult was subtle, almost routine, but the silence it created was thunderous. Executives shifted in place. Some looked down. Others exchanged uneasy glances. Not a single voice broke the moment. Danielle slowly lowered her hand. Her face remained composed, unreadable. She wasn't hurt. She was calculating, because what Rebecca didn't know, what none of them knew, was that Danielle Brooks wasn't just another guest. She was the quiet force behind the entire $5 billion project. And that careless act of arrogance had just ignited the fuse beneath Rebecca's empire. The brunch continued. Rebecca soaked up attention, bragging about timelines and legacy. Cameras flashed as she posed beside executives, smiles destined to become ashes. Danielle remained silent, observant, locking every detail away. She understood something they didn't. The most dangerous power makes no noise. By afternoon, crept through legal circles. Buried deep in the contract was a clause nearly invisible, allowing investors to pull funding within 24 hours if misconduct surfaced. Danielle's name sat firmly on that line. That evening, as city lights glittered against the skyline, the video appeared online. Shaky, brief, undeniable. Rebecca laughing as she ignored Danielle's outstretched hand, turning instead to charm the men around her. The caption was simple. She shook hands with everyone except her. By morning, millions had seen it. The comments poured in. Still happening in 2025. This arrogance is painful. Who was the woman she ignored? Danielle said nothing. She didn't post. She didn't explain. She didn't have to die at sunrise. She sent one email. Funding withdrawn. Effective immediately. With a single keystroke. $2 billion disappeared. Chaos followed instantly. Phones rang endlessly. Stock values dropped before noon. PR firms rushed out damage control statements, but the backlash only intensified. Journalists demanded answers. Investors fled, one after another, unwilling to defend arrogance exposed so publicly. Inside the boardroom, Rebecca went pale as the CFO read the notice aloud. Brooks Capital has withdrawn all funding. Additional investors are reviewing their exits. Rebecca's voice cracked. How was I supposed to know? The silence answered her. Everyone knew the truth. She hadn't known because she hadn't cared. She saw a black woman and decided she didn't matter. That decision cost her everything. By week's end, The $5 billion deal had collapsed. Contracts unraveled. Partnerships vanished. Rebecca's apologies, tearful interviews, and carefully worded statements rang hollow. The video never disappeared. It looped endlessly, a permanent scar on her reputation. Danielle Brooks stayed quiet. She declined interviews, ignored cameras, and calmly redirected her capital into ventures led by people who valued respect over ego. The energy initiative she once supported moved forward under new leadership. Without Rebecca anywhere near the table, her silence spoke louder than any speech. For Danielle, this was never about a single handshake. It was about generations of women like her being overlooked, dismissed, reduced to shadows until the moment they reminded the world who truly holds the power in that one act of withdrawal. She revealed a truth no camera spin could hide. Empires crumble when arrogance is their foundation. Rebecca's fall wasn't explosive. There was no spectacle. It was worse. It was quiet, unanswered calls, vanished investors. A name once respected, now whispered with ridicule. The woman she mocked publicly, the one she believed invisible, dismantled her empire without ever raising her voice. Because sometimes the strongest move isn't confrontation. Sometimes it's walking away. And the echo of that choice traveled far beyond the ballroom. Boardrooms nationwide replayed the clip, executives shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Journalists called it the quietest revolution. Social media turned her silence into a rallying cry. Young black women watching from classrooms, offices, and living rooms whispered the same truth to themselves. Respect is not optional. Danielle Brooks didn't just end an empire. She forced an industry to remember who truly holds the power to build or to destroy. If this story moved you, just watch. Like the video. Share it so the truth travels further. Comment where you're watching from and which moment hit you hardest. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every voice here transforms silence into power. Together, we make injustice impossible to ignore.